Beneath the red sky. The sun had barely begun to set when Mara stepped out of her small cottage, the smell of the day's rain still fresh in the air. But something was different tonight. The sky, once a dull gray, had turned an unsettling shade of red, the deep, fiery crimson that seemed to bleed into the clouds like spilled ink. It was as though the heavens themselves were on fire. She glanced up, her heart quickening. The red sky was not just a passing phenomenon. It had been this way for days now, casting an eerie glow over the village, making the familiar look foreign and unsettling. People whispered about it, as they whispered about everything in their small-town superstitions, ancient prophecies, old wives' tales. But Mara wasn't one to believe in such things. Or at least, she hadn't been. Tonight, however, something inside her stirred, a strange compulsion she couldn't quite explain. Her feet moved of their own accord, carrying her through the village and towards the edge of the forest. The trees, once comforting and familiar, now seemed to loom ominously in the red light, their shadows stretching like dark fingers across the ground. As she reached the clearing by the ancient stone well, Mara noticed someone, standing by the water's edge. A figure cloaked in shadows, their form barely visible against the fiery backdrop of the sky. "Who's there?" Mara called out, her voice trembling slightly. The figure didn't answer at first, but then it turned, revealing a face both familiar and strange. It was her grandmother, or rather, the image of her grandmother, though something about the eyes, those deep, knowing eyes, felt different. Ancient. Timeless as Mara, the figure said, her voice soft but carrying the weight of 1,000 untold stories. "You've come." Mara took a hesitant step forward. "What is this? What's happening to the sky?" Her grandmother's eyes never left hers. "The sky is a mirror," she said. "It reflects what's happening below. The balance is shifting. The red sky is a sign, one that cannot be ignored." Mara's heart raced. She had heard stories about the red sky, legends passed down through generations. It was said that when the sky turned red, something important, something terrible, was about to happen. A reckoning, a change. But Mara had always dismissed it as myth. Why now? "Why me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Because you are the one," her grandmother replied, stepping closer. "You carry the bloodline of those who once guarded this land, long before the world forgot its old ways. The time has come for you to awaken what has been dormant within you." Mara's mind spun. She wasn't a keeper of ancient secrets, wasn't the hero of any old prophecy. She was just a young woman trying to make sense of the world, trying to live her life in a village that never seemed to change. But now, standing beneath the red sky, with the weight of her grandmother's gaze upon her, she felt something stir deep within her, something ancient, something powerful. "What do I have to do?" she asked, her voice steady now, despite the fear that gnawed at her stomach. Her grandmother smiled, a sad, knowing smile. "You must go to the heart of the forest. There, you will find the stone that holds the key. It is the last piece of the puzzle, the final act that will restore balance or destroy it forever. Mara hesitated. The forest was dark, and the tales of what lurked within its depths were enough to chill anyone's bones. But her grandmother's words echoed in her mind. You are the one. The weight of destiny pressed down on her shoulders, but it also filled her with a strange sense of purpose. She turned, facing the path that led into the shadowed woods. The red sky above seemed to pulse with energy, as if the world itself was holding its breath. With a final glance back at her grandmother, Mara began her journey. The trees seemed to close in around her, the path growing narrower, darker. The wind whispered through the leaves, carrying with it the scent of earth and something else, something old. She didn't know how long she walked, only that the further she went, the more the world around her seemed to shift. The air grew heavier, charged with an unnatural energy. And then, just as the darkness seemed to swallow her whole, she saw it, the stone. It was massive, an ancient monolith standing tall in the center of a forgotten clearing. The red sky above bathed it in an eerie glow, and for the first time, Mara felt a sense of awe. This was what she had come for. This was the key. With a deep breath, she approached the stone. It was covered in strange markings, symbols she couldn't understand, but somehow felt drawn to. As her fingers brushed against the surface, the ground beneath her feet trembled. The stone seemed to hum, its energy reverberating through her, filling her with a power she had never known. The red sky above seemed to flicker, as though it, too, was awakening. And in that moment, Mara realized what she had to do. The balance of the world, the fate of her people, was in her hands. With a final prayer to whatever forces guided her, she placed her hand firmly on the stone. The energy surged, the world around her spinning, as the red sky blazed brighter than ever before, and beneath that red sky, Mara's destiny was sealed.